Coming to the end of your life and realize you didn't accomplish what you set out to accomplish is not nearly as painful as accomplishing everything you set out in life to accomplish and realizing that it didn't matter. We are standing in the backyard of my parents' home where I grew up. The lessons I learned here was how to work, and how to work hard. Everything had to be planted, everything had to be dug, everything had to be installed. So it was work constantly. And at the time, I didn't appreciate it. Now I really appreciate it.
He was a good hand. He liked to work, but there was a time when I was doing some concrete work and they were standing around watching me and I needed help. So I said, "Can't you guys figure out what we're doing so that I don't have to tell you everything that you need to do?" Later in life, he said that was probably the best lesson you ever taught me, because then it made me look and see work without having to be told that work had to be done.
Growing up out here in the country with a dad who's a youth pastor and a mom who's a stay-at-home mom, and it was great. I mean, faith was everything. And I got saved here when I was 6 years old. I invited Jesus Christ into my heart and made him my Lord and Savior. That doesn't mean a lot when you're 6. I did it again at church camp when I was 14. My dad was preaching, and I was like, I need to make God a bigger part of my life and a bigger part of my story. And so that's what I did. That wasn't until I turned 19, and I fell away from the Lord for several years. And I became somebody I didn't like, somebody that I didn't respect, drinking and carousing, and it wasn't a fun time.
As a dad, I loved my son, but I could not go alone when he was living in sin, and the Lord Jesus didn't mean as much to him as he did before. I said, if that's the lifestyle you live, you can't live it here. You're going to have to find someplace else to go to live that kind of a lifestyle.
This was my first non-farm job. I have a lot of fond memories. This was such a fun job. But I will say this, because I was working here, I didn't know what I was going to do next. And so I'm here, I'm going through community college, I'm trying to figure out what my next move is, I don't know. And my shift here was 3 to midnight. So I was what's called a merchandiser. I went from being a bag boy to a merchandiser. And that meant I got home at 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. And the only thing on TV in the mid-90s at 1 o'clock in the morning was infomercials. And I saw an infomercial about investing in real estate. So after I first went to that real estate investment seminar that I saw on TV, they told me this. They said, "Lee, if you can find a good deal, the money will be easy." And I'm like, are you kidding me? I haven't seen more than $10 in one place in my life. I'm just going to go out and raise hundreds of thousands of dollars? Sure. But I took them up on their word. And so I went out and I just started looking for deals. And I found this amazing deal. I had no way to finance it. Remember, my credit's shot. I maxed out on my credit cards. I got no money. I'm making minimum wage. And so I came to work that night. And I remember talking to Ken, the store manager, and saying, "Ken, look at this incredible real estate deal. We could go in together on it. We could make money." And Ken said, "Lee, stay in school, stay at the store. You can be a manager like me one day." And I was like, So I went to Greg in the produce department. I went around to Kirk in the meat department. And finally I came to the pharmacy where Brent was working.
I had talked to Lee a little bit, through the store or whatnot, but he approached me one day and said, "Hey, what do you think about going to a real estate convention down in Florida?" And that sounded very intriguing and exciting to me. And I said, "Yeah, I'd like to do that." Mr. Arnold.
Brent!
You sure you want to do that? Look at
What are
this.
you doing, man?
Huh?
Look at you.
I've been an electrician today. Tomorrow I'm an excavator.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah. I see that.
So this was our first flip.
First flip,
What'd you learn?
a lot. Sheetrock, electrical, painting, because really it was a little bit of everything that we did, right?
Yeah. Do you remember hauling the gallon jugs of urine and poop-filled bags out of the basement?
Yes, I do.
Why didn't we hire somebody to do that?
I'm still asking myself that.
That was like the most incredible thing that ever happened to me, because I went from a minimum wage guy to now being a owner of a piece of property Brent and I bought it together. He put up all the money. We used his credit. We used his credit cards. And without Brent, I would have never been able to do any of the things that we're doing now, because there were two things. One, he believed in me. He encouraged me, he supported me. But two, he was willing to put his money where his mouth was, and nobody else was. My parents, no. Grandparents, no. Friends and family, no. Brent, the drug dealer, yes. That's why I like to tell people my first deal was financed by a drug dealer, because it was Brent, the pharmacist at Yokes Pack and Save. So after I flipped that first house, I was looking for how do I grow and scale this business? And that book I had read, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, said if you want to be rich and successful, you got to go hang out with rich and successful people. Well, the only people I knew in my life were farmers and grocers, none of which were rich or wealthy. And I thought, who do I know that has money? And I thought about that company that I went to the real estate training just years before, and I thought, boy, I'd like to go work for them. And so I gave them a call, and I ended up getting hired. So I moved from Spokane, Washington down to Cape Coral, Florida, and I spent the next 12 months on the road putting on the very real estate investment seminars that I had purchased from just years before. And one day we were in Salt Lake City, Utah, doing a seminar there, and this beautiful, beautiful lady walked into the room. And I was enamored, I was smitten, I was hooked. And I said, I gotta meet her. And so I went over and I said, hi, my name is Lee Arnold. And I just introduced myself, and that sparked a dinner, and after that it sparked a date. And 6 months later, I moved from Cape Coral, Florida to Salt Lake City, Utah. And 18 months later, we got married.
What attracted me to him was he's very charismatic and very goal-driven. I'm more logical, and I don't really dream really big. And so it kind of drew me to him.
She has a master's degree in finance and accounting. I mean, she's 1,000% smarter than I will ever even hope to be. And she was working for various startups and technology companies in Salt Lake City. But when she got pregnant with the twins, she said, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. And I said, great, I support you. You be a stay-at-home mom. I said, I'll go buy and flip houses and run the company, and you stay home.
He was traveling the country, speaking at multiple events. He was very sought after. He had a lot of successful clients, and the one way that he made his money was working through short sales at this time. So he would help people stay in their homes for 2 to 3 years while not making a mortgage payment, and being able to help them get out of their house so that, they wouldn't have to take out bankruptcy. And so because of this act, he named the company I'm the Solution, meaning that I, Lee Arnold, is the solution that will help you stay in your home and not have to pay your mortgage.
I'm buying houses at foreclosure auction. I'm negotiating short sales. I mean, we're getting great deals. I mean, we were making $250,000 to $300,000 a month.
This was a lifestyle that we had both dreamed of not worrying about money, being able to go out to eat whenever we wanted to go out to eat, or go on trips whenever we wanted to go on trips, or whatever we wanted to do, have the means to pay for that.
That was July of 8. In August of 8, Bear Stearns went bankrupt. In September of 8, Lehman Brothers went bankrupt. In October of 8, the entire financial system went to crap. So fast. We went from doing $300,000 a month, I'll never forget this. In July, we did $300,000 a month. In August, we did $250,000. In September, we did $25,000. In October, we did $6,000. So now I've got 3 kids, 14 months and younger, and once again, I'm homeless because I've lost my home. And I remember going to Costco because we needed diapers and we needed formula. And I put the diapers and the formula on the counter, and I give my credit card and it declines. So I give him my debit card and it declines. And I don't even have money to buy diapers and formula for my kids. And that was hard. It was humbling. And it was an awakening. I just spent the last 12 years of my life trying to get rich. And in 4 months, it was gone. And I had nothing to show for it. Relationships were gone. Projects gone. hope gone. Well, now what do I do? It was the lowest I've ever been because I spent 12 years pursuing something that didn't matter. Because at the end of the day, if you're rich or you're poor, the only thing that matters is the relationships that you have, starting with your relationship with God.
This testing period that lasted a few years, we really learned that it's God that gives and takes away. God revealed to him, this is why you fell, because you think you're the solution. But God said, I'm actually the solution. And so we knew that we had to surrender to him and give to him first. And if we didn't do that, then he wouldn't bless our lives. I'm not saying that if people do that, they're going to automatically be blessed with money or anything like that. But we knew we had to do it God's way. And now we knew that we could live without.
So we had to figure it out. And the first thing we did is we said, okay, this time we're going to rebuild the business, but we're going to make God the CEO, not me. And the minute we made that decision, everything just started working. Opportunities came out of nowhere. People that wanted to do business with us came out of nowhere. Things that we started making money on came out of nowhere. And we were just like, wow, this is incredible. I really wanted to help other people be able to go out and do what I had been doing, finding rundown homes, buying them, using other people's capital. And so I wanted to take the experience that I had and deliver it to people across the country and teach them how to buy, fix, and sell houses for profit as well, because now we could renovate more houses in more places, we could provide affordable housing to more people in more places. And so we took the information that we had accumulated through our own fix and flip knowledge and we put it into what we call the Lee Arnold system of real estate investing. And we started teaching people all over the country how to do this the right way. But I wanted them to have the pharmacist at the grocery store like I did. I wanted them to have their own personal Brent Elliott. When I started Kogo, which is the nationwide lending company, I was doing it because what you did for me and saying, Lee, if you find a deal, I'll partner with you, I'll provide the funding. Mm-hmm. That was transformational. And so now I want to do that for all of our clients by saying, hey, if you guys just go find a deal that fits in this box, the Cracker Jack box of a house, here's the funding to get it done. And we've lent thousands of people funding over the years.
I'm just so impressed and proud of how much he's able to teach people something that we've enjoyed so much that we had to learn it the hard way, so to speak. And now people can come into this profession and have a really good coach, a really good team.
But the Bible says that without a vision, the people will perish. And so I didn't just want to teach people how to fix and flip real estate. I wanted to give them a bigger vision about what is possible, and that is passive income. And that's why we created our Secured Investment Corp high yield funds. People could go from being in the active business of building wealth through real estate, and they could become a passive investor simply by putting it in our private equity funds. Those equity funds then became the funding, the fuel for Kogo Capital to lend to new students coming in through the system. And this is what we call our circle of wealth. Now, in 2008, when I had lost everything, I realized that purpose was more important than anything I was doing, and I needed to use my business to share Christ. This is what we call business as a ministry. So in October of 2009, we formed He's the Solution, and we made it the center of our circle of wealth. So if we could help people get their financial house of cards in order, perhaps we could help them get their spiritual life in order as well. God owns it all. He's the CEO of everything we do, every enterprise, every ministry, every nonprofit. He's the solution. He's the CEO. And that's how we've been running everything ever since. It's the foundation of our companies. It's the culture of our companies. And it doesn't mean that you have to be a believer. You don't have to be a Christian to work with me or our organizations or be involved in our companies or to do business with us. But it's who we are. and we're not shy about it. And so in 2018, we started a conference called the Be Bold for Jesus Conference because we were having a lot of our Christian clients that were saying, hey, this is great. We kind of like this whole idea of doing business as a ministry. Can we get together and hang out? And we said, all right. So we picked a central location, Dallas, Texas, and 18 people showed up. That was not a success, but it was a start. And so we prayed about it. We said, God, do you really want us to keep doing this Be Bold for Jesus thing? And God said, yeah, keep doing it. And so we did. And we just finished our Be Bold for Jesus conference about 3 weeks ago, and we had over 5,500 people in attendance, and we're anticipating 8,000 next year to the Be Bold for Jesus conference. So God really is the solution, and we want to be bold for him in everything that we do. And that's how we run our companies.
He is committed to a life of faith in Jesus Christ, and he is committed to try to help other people see what he has found that energizes him, comforts him, that causes him to want to help other people see the same thing.
You reap what you sow. And he's learned from that big time. He's still working on it. Yeah, aren't we all?
Money is a worthless endeavor. It disappears. It has no loyalty. It chases whatever's chasing it. But when you chase purpose, money is attracted to you because you're doing so much more than just buying big houses and fancy cars. You're actually serving other people. And that's what I've learned. If I'm not serving people through my efforts, then I don't want to exert the energy.
I just picked up today my very first broker check.
With the Lee Arnold system, since April, I've made $12,600. And by the end of the month, I'll be scheduled to make another $30,000.
The system that you have going, and it do work, because if I can be a teacher in the classroom, the only thing I know about real estate is my own primary residence. And I trust Lee Arnold, and the courses that I did, it was tremendous.
Lee and team, Kogo Capital, you guys are amazing. Just keeping us motivated and educated and really standing behind, letting us know that, it works if we put in the work and we do all the things that we're supposed to do.
Right here, I'm building my exit strategy from teaching.
So when I came across Lee Arnold systems and it's like, hey, there's a one-on-one mentoring, we're doing live classes, I was like, perfect, because I don't want to be into modular videos and all those other things. I want to be able to ask my questions as they come up.
I walk in here and people say, good morning, Sheila. How are you, Sheila? They know my name, and that's important. A name is important to someone. And the fact that I'm recognized makes me feel like I belong here.
The fact that you guys are projected and are a real Christian type organization means a lot to me.
Emmy.
What do you want people to say about you? Do you want it to say, here lies Lee Arnold. He made billions of dollars and drove fancy cars and lived in big houses and partied till he died. That's not the eulogy that I want. I want the eulogy to be, here lies Lee Arnold, whose company generated billions of dollars that was given away to serve other people, to bless lives, and to share the gospel of Jesus Christ around the world. That's a much more meaningful eulogy to me. So that's what we do. That's what I get up for every day. If it was just about the money, we've made enough money, but it's not about that anymore. It's about generating more revenue to produce more income that can go to the nonprofits and driving the gospel. How many souls can we influence? How many souls can we save for the kingdom? Because to me, that's the only thing that matters. That's the only part that's important.